Welcome back to For Perspective. Today, I'm going to be talking about the benefits of having a full-time job and doing YouTube. Now, of course, there's pluses and minuses with both of these things, but let's kick it off with the good. So I hold down a full-time job, a 9 to 5, if you will, and I manage now 2 YouTube channels along with the social media presence to get my work out into the world so people even know that I'm posting videos. I think I've become more content with the fact that I have less time to work on YouTube while doing a full-time job, but the stress of, trying to find where my next paycheck is coming from or relying solely on AdSense to support my family is much lower because of having a full-time job. So that's obviously benefit number one is stable pay. Not having to worry about where your next paycheck is coming from to pay your bills. Rick Rubin talks about this as well. Don't be a starving artist. Do what you have to do to support your family, and then go follow your passion project on the side and, make the art that you want to make. Also, with full-time jobs, you get benefits like sick time, vacation time, parental leave, 401k match. Obviously, these vary a little bit company to company. In the engineering space, they're pretty much the same. Wherever you go, you're going to have a 401k match. You're going to have some form of vacation. A lot of people don't get sick time, I guess, anymore. I love that we have that benefit that allows you to be able to take care of yourself or family members when they are sick as well. And of course, parental leave, which, the U.S. needs a little bit of an overhaul here on parental leave, but at least we get some time off when you have kids. So these benefits are great to have and something that I think not many people think about or talk about when they say, I want to go full time on YouTube. You have to think about, are you going to pay for your own health insurance? Does the costs and how much money you're making cover that additional expense? You have to think about if you want to take time off, what sort of impact is that going to have on your bottom line if you treat this like a business? So a lot of things to think about in the YouTube space or creative entrepreneur space that you just don't have to think about when you have a full-time job. So I am right now content with the fact that, I may only have 10-ish hours a week to spend on my various YouTube content because I'm working a 40+ hour a week job. But what that gives me then is, also full creative freedom. So I choose what I want to work on, how long I want to work on it, when I want to work on it. I don't have any pressure to succeed in any one video. It's not like if I don't have a video that gets 100,000 views tomorrow that I'm a failure sort of thing, right? It's like, yeah, great. I love seeing videos that perform well and signal back to me that the viewers and the audience liked what I was doing. But at the same time, I'm not relying on that as my, to pay my living expenses. So there's less pressure on me in that sense to think about what would perform well for, the algorithm, as everybody likes to say. And I can focus on making what I want to make, which I think in turn then attracts the right viewers to the channel, people that are also interested in the same stuff and are, more invested for the long term than just one viral video that gets a few 100,000 or million views. So I think for me, right now, the benefits definitely do outweigh the cons. And I can give you an analogy here. It's kind of like, you can hop on the treadmill whenever you want. And you can run a mile, you can do sprints, you could train for a marathon. And then you can get back off the treadmill. And if you want to pop in just for an occasional cardio day, that's fine too. how you manage your channel and how you manage your content is totally up to you, and the choice is yours. I think we've seen far too often people that dive in and have early success may have years and years of success, but eventually, you get tired and you need to get off the treadmill. You can't run forever. So I've been cognizant about that, and I've talked about that in other videos and podcasts as well. How many videos I want to make in a week, how to treat this like the long game and go for the long term rather than overwork myself to put out too many videos in a short period of time. And then the other thing is you don't have to sell yourself out to make a living or make a quick buck. An example would be a brand reaching out to you to send you a free product, but the free product is the payment for the video. And in their contract, they have terms that you don't agree with as far as intellectual property, meaning they want to own the rights to that video forever. You don't have to compromise on your values in order to do that. You can just say, no thanks. I'd rather pass on that for now. I appreciate you reaching out. If things change in the future, I'm open to, collaborate then. And when that happens, your world doesn't fall apart. It's not like you needed the product in order to make another video in order to keep your AdSense revenue stream going if you've set this up right. Although I think a lot of people operate that way, and maybe, not many people talk about this side of YouTube and brand deals and, the influencership of this whole thing. And I think we should. I think we should talk about it. There's improvements to be had on all ends. I think on the company end, how they approach, creators and reaching out, understanding the worth and the effort and the time that goes into making a video, and the fact that, a few $100 product likely doesn't cover the cost of making the video. For me, that would have been a net negative deal. Right? Yes, I get a free product, but the time and the effort that goes into making a video and then going back and forth with the company for approvals before the video gets posted can just be monotonous. And for a lot of creatives, I think, including myself, I don't think anybody enjoys that. Maybe they do. I don't know. But, it is just like having another business. It's like if you work a 9 to 5, you do this for 40 plus hours a week. And then when you do the creative stuff, you just kind of want to okay, this is what I want to do. I want to make a video about cameras. And then you go record all your stuff and you make a video about cameras. There are no talking points. There are no requirements. There's no due date, or deadline or approvals that you have to go seek. That's what appeals to me, right? I live that throughout the week, Monday through Friday, all the bureaucracy of working in a big company in corporate America. You don't have that when you are your own boss effectively in the creative space. So I do think that will change in the future. Creators aren't stupid. They talk to each other behind the scenes. I don't think the people in the companies that are reaching out to creators are stupid either. They know that people are sharing, who's reaching out, what's going on. Obviously, there are NDAs and disclosures and things that prevent people from sharing exact details, but, the word gets around. So then the downsides to working a full-time job and doing YouTube, or really any, you could apply this to any creative hobby, is that you have less time to do that hobby. So we're kind of conditioned in this day and age that if you don't see rapid growth and rapid success, that you're a failure. Nothing could be farther from the truth on YouTube. Actually, it takes, in my experience, a long time to kind of build an audience, and the algorithm starts to learn who to feed your videos to. And, it just takes time. So that could wear you down depending on your mindset. The fact that you're not growing towards your expectations. Maybe your expectations need adjusted, But there's plenty of people who are looking for the quick solution to whatever they want. Quick solution to fame, to money, to power, whatever it is. YouTube is definitely not that, or at least I'm not treating it that way. I guess I could have been trying to make viral videos with titles and thumbnails and all the crap that goes into making viral videos, but instead I just choose to make what I want to make. So I'm happy with the end product. I don't feel like a slimy salesman. I'm focused on products that I like and use on a regular basis, how I use them, what apps I use on them, that sort of thing. So now there's obviously a toll and a drain on your mental and physical ability, depending on what your job is throughout the week. So it can definitely be more difficult to come up with ideas and do the creative hobby on the side if you are mentally or physically drained from your full-time job, which this definitely happens to me. I've also talked about this in the past as well. I can come up with ideas. Sometimes I don't have the energy to execute, or vice versa. I really want to execute, but I did not spend any time or energy to come up with ideas. So you can easily kind of fall into the trap of, it's okay to miss a day, then you miss another day, then you miss another day, and then soon you're not making videos because you don't have to, because you're financially supported in other ways. And people like, the Atomic Habits, how to build habits, stress to you that if you miss a day, that's okay, but don't miss 2 in a row. If you miss 2 in a row, starts to become the path of building a habit in the wrong direction. So you just have to be mindful of that. At the same time, taking stock of, mental capacity and physical capacity as well. So no matter how small, I try to work on something for the channel every day, even it's as tiny as, writing down a sentence in my Apple Note for an idea, working on an existing script, checking out my calendar to figure out, okay, what am I going to record this weekend? When am I going to post that? Do I have time to edit? So on and so forth. Editing is probably like the lowest level of, if I am really tired throughout the week and I just, want to move something forward a little bit, editing is the easiest thing because I keep projects in various phases. Kind of easy to go in and just cut out some dead space, cut out the ums and ahs, get the main project how you want, or overlay some B-roll that you've already recorded. And then by the time the weekend comes, I can sort of rest and relax and wind down on Friday. And Saturday, I'm getting up and I'm excited to go shoot some video, shoot some B-roll, record a podcast, or whatever that's on the agenda for the day. And then one of the final things that I'll talk about is the fact that you have a full-time job, but then you're working on this passion project and it starts to kind of make money, maybe takes off a little bit, you're getting some AdSense revenue, you're getting some brand deals. It can definitely make you question, what you want to really do in life. What is your purpose? You might be really good. You might be really invested in your day job, but you might like doing the YouTube creative entrepreneur thing better. I don't know. Some people make way more money doing the creative entrepreneur thing than they would doing a 9-to-5 job, but other people like the security of the 9-to-5, don't want to go all in on something like YouTube, can't afford to go all in because of family circumstances or whatever. So because of that, it can kind of make you question, like, what would life look like if I went all in on this? If I did have all the time in the world to spend on YouTube, on a podcast, on these other videos, starting a newsletter, creating a product, all the things that the gurus will tell you that you need to do, you can start to question the what if scenario. But when I took a step back and kind of looked at that holistically for myself, it was, no, I do, and it's still work, right? They call it work for a reason, but for the most part, I work on cool stuff. cool products. The people are good. The culture is good at the company. So alongside the benefits and the stable pay, you have a good product that you're invested in and a team that is easy to work with. It's, it can be stressful at times, just like any job, but generally I think the stress would be higher if I was on my own. If I needed a video to do certain numbers, if I had to put out a certain number of videos per week, I can also see how I would be easily overwhelmed with that. Just like I am, if they say, you got to work some overtime. It's like, yeah, okay, crap. But you do what you have to do to get the job done. Maybe you do the same thing on the entrepreneur side, but I'd probably be spending even more time, 40-hour-a-week job. If I spend 10 to 20 hours on the creative stuff now, working on it part-time, I could easily see that being 50, 60, 70 plus. Partly because I enjoy it, but at least I enjoy it right now with the scenario that I'm in. Would I enjoy it the same amount? Would it get, overwhelming, overly stressful? I don't know. I'm not in that situation yet. I don't know that I'll ever be in that situation. There are plenty of other creators out there. I think they're starting to get smaller and smaller. There seems to be a point where most people start to say, okay, I'm making as much as I did in my day job, so I should probably go full time with this. I think the one that sticks out to me is Dave 2D. I'm pretty sure he still has a full-time job and has for his over 10 years on YouTube now. And, he's built an amazing channel. He does great reviews, great videos, but at the same time, has to be efficient about it because he's working a full-time job as well. And I think during post-pandemic times, we saw a large influx of people quitting or laid off. So this was all that they could do to make money. So they did it and they made it work and they made it, they built a business out of it. And this is what they do now. And that's fine. I've also seen the flip side of the coin on social media. Plenty of people saying, they're done with full-time content creation. It's too hard, too difficult, can't take it. Pressure's too high, can't take the negative comments or, any number of reasons. And they've gone back to a full-time job and really pared back the amount of content that they make throughout the week. I myself kind of feel that way at the moment. I'm trying to figure out a better cadence for how I do things. And I really think a schedule is the way to do it for me. And that will quell most of my concerns. But a lot of it is kind of willy-nilly at this point. Like today I was, okay, I'll sit down and record a podcast. What am I going to talk about? And I pull up my list. I have, a number of different things that I want to get to on the podcast. And I pick one and I'm talking about it. I think setting a better schedule will help me and help the audience as well. So like if I do 2 podcasts a month, I think that's the cadence I'm going to go for rather than try to do every other week or every 2 weeks or every week. I want to do 2 podcasts a month, I think. Try to keep my main channel, the Bill McLean channel, at 1 video a week. Sometimes that's overwhelming and, I'll switch to 0 videos a week for a while I try out new products or I'm testing things and I need to gather my thoughts together or do a little bit more long-term planning for a video. Generally, though, I want to have a video out every week on the Bill McLean channel. And then my latest YouTube endeavor is called Not Another Pair. And it is a shoe channel, mainly running shoes. So this forces me to have videos a little bit further spread out because while I like running is not my entire personality. So I do it at tops 3 times a week. So if I'm only running 3 times a week, I don't put that many miles on the shoes. So in order to form my opinions for a long-term review, that's definitely probably like a 3 or 4 week thing worth of testing before I have like 50 miles on a shoe, maybe if I do like 5 miles a week. or around there. It might take even longer. So I think that's interesting. It's interesting to me because now I'm on a tangent. Because I like shoes, but at the same time, it like forces me to slow down to think, okay, how many miles have you run in this shoe? Have you even broken it in yet? Do you know, like, have you formed your thoughts in a few miles? I don't know, but I think if you're buying a running shoe, most people want to know things like long-term durability. How has the foam held up over time? So getting the initial impressions is important, and getting those out, which I have been doing, but at the same time, focusing on long-term videos and forming long-term opinions takes longer, I think, than tech. Like within a week or two, I generally have a really good opinion about what I'm using. And then as you use it long-term, sure, you develop new ways to use it, different applications that might help you, so on and so forth. But generally, like, these things aren't breaking down over time. My M2 Max Studio doesn't need a long-term durability review, because if it did, that means there would be something wrong with it. Like, all of the ports still work, it's powers on fine, still has the same amount of RAM as it did when it started. Same with phones. You keep it in good condition and aren't dropping it or throwing it, generally it's going to work the same way that it did the day you bought it. You might just have a different use case for it. So I've shifted my mindset around a little bit and tried to apply some of that to tech. Like, I do like to do a first thoughts style of video, then maybe a month or two in, do kind of a review, and then 6 months down the road, how's it holding up? Have I changed the way that I've used it? Are there any durability issues? Which generally with Apple products, there are not. So I've been thinking more about video frequency and how to plan all this stuff out in a way that makes sense for me, but also keeps, you got to kind of feed the beast a little bit in order to grow. So, how can I adjust my schedule such that I can feed the beast in a reasonable manner, in a way that's sustainable for what I want to do long term. And one of those ways is keeping my stable income through my full-time job. So that is a priority, on the list for sure. While I try to continually increase the quality, my camera presence, audio, how I shoot B-roll, how I'm editing, and weave some creativity into these videos to try to make each one a little bit better than the last. I think that's it for today. On Spotify, you can leave a review and comments now. Of course, if you watched on YouTube, hit the like button, drop a comment, and a subscribe for more for perspective and other videos on the Bill McLean channel. And I would appreciate any reviews you leave on Apple Podcasts. That helps out as well. Look forward to seeing you back in the next one. Later.